nothing.
No, they're supposed.
They're supposed to do a health study from an order from the Air Quality Management District, but that has not even gone close to them deciding who will do it, what kind of funding will go into that. And they're just barely dealing with the aftermath. When thousands of people are still out of their homes, thousands are still getting sick, and so in terms of people going back home and getting better, that's not even the case. They're barely behind in testing chemicals in the home so they can even do a long-term study so they can even figure out what there is to clean. It's chaos. Nobody has any clue what they're doing.
And we need to start. And they need to survey the people. And so within the 5-mile radius, these people were said, okay, you guys are the ones that have been impacted. So survey everyone. Let's get a pattern of symptoms because I had vertigo. I've never had vertigo before. And then we started talking with neighbors, and all of a sudden, all these people are having vertigo.
Oh, is that right?
Dizzy. Oh yes. Dizziness, irritated throat, eyes. I have a corneal irregularity on my left eye, which I didn't have in September because I was tested. And my doctor said, okay, here's before and here's after. Something's going on with your eye. And volatile organic compounds apparently cause corneal erosion. So there's so much.
But what does seem to be pretty strange is that there has not been a basic study of the health conditions of the people involved, and to see if there's an association between these chemicals and the
or metals. I mean, it could be also. We don't know, and it's for example, the Southern California Gas Company not disclosing what was in there, what were we exposed to because they have proprietary.
Or did you want to make a...
Well, I think that this is what you hear in community after community that's been exposed, that lives next to you. The first thing you say, well, somebody should do a health study. And the thing that we found out is the truth doesn't set you free. The truth doesn't change things. So, because then you're told, well, that just that you have these in your body doesn't mean something's going to happen to you. So we have a regulatory system that actually discounts how people actually really experience this evidence. Yeah. And that's, put us in the position of having to prove we've been harmed. Having to do your own testing, having to do a community study, versus understanding that this is just wrong from the time you pull it out to the time you refine it to the time we use it. It is not healthy.
Let me just say, congratulate you for standing up and fighting an enormously important fight. And obviously, this is not just a fight in the LA area. We're seeing all over this country, especially in communities of people of color. Kids coming down with outrageous levels of various kinds of illnesses, including asthma, epidemic in certain communities. And a lot of that, I think, can be attributable to pollution associated in one way or another, the toxicity that comes from one or another kind of production. And this is an issue if we're concerned about the health of the American people, we've got to deal with. And your point, of course, is that if we're going to deal with climate change, clearly we're going to have to transform our energy system away from this to solar and wind and energy efficiency and geothermal. That is the future of American children should not be getting sick, being exposed to this type of stuff. All right, well, I thank you very much, and if we can be of any future help to you, you're very welcome. Okay, thank you all. Okay. America, we minimize the degree of the illness that is caused by various types of chemical exposure. The idea that children are coming down with one ailment after another because they're breathing chemicals in the air clearly is not acceptable to me. And if elected president, this is an issue we will put a lot of resources into it. And certainly it's not just California. In urban areas of this country, outrageously high rates of childhood asthma. And this is something that when we talk about healthcare, we have to understand that these type of pollutants cannot be allowed to continue to poison the children of our country. Second of all, it is my view that not only because of the pollutants, not only because of the release of methane, but because of the concern that many of us have about the future of clean water in the United States of America. We have got to end fracking. It is just not worth the risk to poison our aquifers at a time when we are seeing the kind of damage we are from climate change and drought. We have to be very, very conservative in making sure that we protect our water supply, and fracking moves us in exactly the wrong direction. So I applaud the families who have come out, the individuals who have spoken out against this very serious problem here, and we look forward to working with them. Any questions on environmental issues?
Senator, you heard from the families from Porter Ranch who were affected by the natural gas. What can be done on federal level to help?
Well, a lot can be done. We have to hold the companies accountable. And most importantly, what we have got to do is transform our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. There is huge potential, and we're seeing it here in California. We're seeing the growing utilization of wind turbines and of solar. If elected president, we will greatly accelerate that transformation. We have the technology now, we have the knowledge, and research and development will only make sustainable energies even more cost effective. But right now we can do a lot more with solar, we can do a lot more with wind, with geothermal, and with other technologies, and we can create in this process just a whole heck of a lot of good paying jobs as we move away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy.
Senator Donald Trump just said that he would not debate you. He just put out a press release saying that here in California. What do you say to that?
That's the first that I heard of that. I heard that he was going to debate me, and I heard that he was not going to debate me, and I heard that he was going to debate me, and now you're telling me that he is not going to debate me. Well, I hope that he changes his mind again. Mr. Trump is known to change his mind many times in a day. And I would, Trump goes around, he's a bully, he's a big, tough guy. Well, Mr. Trump, what are you afraid of? Why do you not want to see a debate here in California and obviously all across this country on why you think it is a good idea to be trying to divide up our people, to be scapegoating Mexicans and Latinos, Muslims and women and veterans and African Americans? I want you to tell the American people why you think that's constructive for our country, or why you do not believe that climate change is real. You believe it's a hoax. Tell the American people why you think your view is right and virtually every scientist who studies this issue is wrong. And tell us why you want to give hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks to billionaire families like your own. So there's a lot to debate. And, Mr. Trump comes across as a big, tough guy. Well, if you're so tough, let's sit down and have that debate. I think, by the way, there'll be a lot of people who would be interested in that debate. I think we could fill up one of the very large stadiums here in California. We have just heard that from at least two of the networks, I think it's ABC and CBS, that they are prepared to sponsor that debate, and in fact, which I think is a good idea, I think Trump had a good idea, put some of their profits into charity. That's the right idea. I think we have major networks that are prepared to do that. Mr. Trump, let's do it.
Senator, do you
Okay.
feel it's inappropriate because you're a second-tier Democrat? What's your reaction?
Well, I think we're going to win here in California, and I think we're going to win a number of other states coming up. And I think that we are going to go into the Democratic convention with a whole lot of momentum. I think we will either be close to or possibly, if we do very, very well, ahead of Hillary Clinton in terms of pledged delegates. That is all the real delegates that people vote for. Obviously, we are far, far behind in terms of the super delegates, 400 of whom came on board Clinton's campaign before any other candidate was even in the race, before the first ballot was cast. And I kind of think that that is a pretty dumb process. And I think what many of these delegates are now beginning to think, who came on Clinton's campaign before I was even in the race, that looking at poll after poll after poll, where we are defeating Trump by big numbers in almost every instance by a much greater margin than is Hillary Clinton, where in some states she is losing to Trump and we are defeating Trump. We're right here in the state of California. I think she's 10 points ahead. Not a whole lot, not a very good margin. But this state, we're 17 points ahead. Just the poll came out the other day. So I think this campaign is far from over. We think we got an uphill fight, that's for sure. But we're going to keep fighting to the last vote is cast and the last delegate is spoken. All right, thank you so much.
I am truly get 8, Caesar the leader.